Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadanti Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruhum Shri Utapatakamelam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagna Rugnatham Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidam Scha Ye Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gupika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sudhe Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpada Rupesha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराण श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुदिर्यस्तमहं प्रपद्ये पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा हरि ओम तत्सत. So welcome to all devotees for today's teachings of Lord Chaitanya class. We are reading from chapter 23, right, Mataji?
Ade Prabhu.
Why study the Vedanta Sutra? Knowledge is information gathered from the scriptures, and science is practical realization of that knowledge. Okay, so this is Jnana Vijnanam. Okay, Jnanam is just a theoretical knowledge, and Vijnanam is the practical realization of that knowledge. Knowledge is scientific when it is gathered from the scriptures through the bona fide spiritual master. So it becomes scientific, shastric, when it is from the scriptures. So there are two types of knowledge. Okay, one is Jada Jnana, other one is Divya Jnana. Okay. Jada Jnana, that will bind us in this material world. Divya Jnana will liberate us from this material world. Both are knowledge. Jada means that relates to this material world, which consists of the 24 elements of this material world. And yes, how we can increase more and more our sense gratification. That is Jada Jnana. We are going to office, okay? We are very skilled in many different fields of activities. Some are bankers, some are engineers, some are doctors, many fields of activities. We're all expert. Each one of us are expert in their own fields. Okay. This is actually for what? Is this knowledge taking us out of this birth and death cycle? No. It will never. It is only for our survival and for sense gratification. Not beyond that. So take any, we are reading novels, short stories, fictions, scientific, the so-called material scientific literatures. Okay, we get knowledge from various fields of activities. Everything is either for our survival, we are using it, or for sense gratification. Okay, we are watching TV every day. We are watching the political debates or the news. For what? Is it in any way helping us to come out of this birth and death cycle? No. It's all jada, matter. Totally, it will bind us within this material world. It will not help us to come out of this material world for our liberation. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, there are departments, various departments in universities: physics, zoology, biology, chemistry, economics, history, geography, maths, name it, everything is available. But where is that department that teaches us about the soul, about the self? No, you'll not find in any universities. Maximum you may find some, department related to trying to find out what is mind. The psychology, psychiatry department, that which deals with mind to a certain extent. Beyond that, you will not find any department that deals with the self. Who is the real self? Okay, not this body. So the knowledge of the material world is totally about the jada, means matter, but the knowledge of the scriptures is totally about the spirit. Okay, the spirit soul, that is the living entities, and the supreme spirit soul, Paramatma, that is the supreme Lord. So that is the difference. It is mentioned here. So when the knowledge is gathered from the scriptures, the revealed scriptures, through the bona fide spiritual master, why it is specifically mentioned here? Because even scriptures can be misinterpreted. It can be quoted in a wrong way. So it should come from the right source. Okay, there are doctors, in the material world, there are certified doctors who has really got this degree from the bona fide universities. There are others also, quack doctors also, who doesn't have degree, who also acts as doctors. Isn't it? If you go to such a doctor for a surgery, the patient will be killed. So we should get the knowledge from the right source. Here also spiritual knowledge should come from the bona fide spiritual master who is in the Sampradaya, who comes in the disciplic succession. So, but when it is interpreted by speculation, just like the quack doctors, speculation, it is mental concoction. So one should not concoct the scriptures. One should receive it as it is. That's why all the material knowledge is in the ascending process. We get it in the ascending process, and the spiritual knowledge we get in the descending process. Okay, Arohanam, Avarohanam. We get it from the right sources. The water comes from top to down. Doesn't go from down to top. Similarly, knowledge also comes from the higher to the lower. So it should come from the right source and not by the speculation process. Speculation, what happens? They will concoct according to their mental imagination. Why we should not accept it? Because we all have the 4 defects, as we have explained earlier. What is that? Our senses are imperfect, subject to be illusion, committing mistakes, cheating propensity. Because of these 4 defects, whatever knowledge we receive in this material world by means of speculation and concoction, it will have flaws. So one should not accept it. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling that we should accept the knowledge from the bona fide spiritual source. By scientifically understanding the scriptural information through the bona fide spiritual master, one learns by one's own realization the truths of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so by one's realization, experience, one learn about the greatness and truth and facts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is different from material manifestations, and it is above the reactions of matter. He is a Divya Purusha. He is not confined within this, material nature. He is above. Okay. Janma karma cha me divyam. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvadaha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti so Arjuna. So the janma, the birth, karma, the activities, etc. of the Supreme Lord is transcendental, divya. But ours, the janma, the birth, The activities of the living beings in the material world are not Divyam. They are within the three modes of material nature. So this is the difference. We are forced to take birth in a particular place, country, time, to a particular set of parents as per karma. We are forced. We cannot choose our parents. We cannot choose the place we are born. We cannot choose the time or date and all this we cannot choose. It's very difficult. It is not possible because we are born by the force of karmic creations. Whereas the Lord chooses his form, place, parents, and everything by his own sweet will. He is Swarat, he is Swatantra. He is not bound by karma, whereas we are bound by karma. That's why his life is and his activities are all divyam, transcendental. So by one's own realization, the truths of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is different from the material manifestations. And it is above the reactions of matter. So above the reactions of matter means it is guna atit, transcendental. Unless one scientifically understands the spiritual form of the Supreme, of the Personality of Godhead, one becomes an impersonalist. So one should understand scientifically the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, you'll fall in the category of impersonalist. That Lord has no personal form. The example comparing the Lord and the material manifestation to the sun and the sunshine is often given. To make us understand, this example is given. The sun rays, the sun planet, and the sun god. The sunshine in itself is illumination, but that illumination is different from the sun. Yet the sun and the sunshine are not differently situated. For without the sun, there can be no sunshine, and without sunshine, there is no meaning to the word sun. So everything is, sun in a way, but it is not sun also. Sun god, the sun planet, the sunshine. So unless one is freed from the influence of the material energy, he cannot understand the Supreme Lord and his different energies. As we have explained earlier, there are multivarious energies for the Supreme Lord. Okay. So it is Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, Tathastha Shakti. The internal energy, the external energy, the marginal energy. All that is manifested within the spiritual worlds are under the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. Okay. All that is manifested within this material world are under the external energy of the Supreme. And all the living entities are under the Tathastha Shakti or marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. And within this also, for example, in the internal energy, that is further divided into three. Sandhini, Samvid, and Hladini. Sandhini is the existential potency, okay, that help, this potency help the Supreme Lord to exist this spiritual world eternally. Samvid is the cognizant part of it. Cognizant, knowledge, all-knowing, omniscient. That is the potency, Samvid. So that helps the Supreme Lord to know everything that is happening in each and every corner of this creation, both spiritual and material, past, present, and future. Hladini is the pleasure seek potency that is represented by Srimati Radharani. And this potency, it keeps increasing. Okay, all these potencies keeps increasing. For example, in the spiritual world, the Hladini Shakti helps the Supreme Lord and the inhabitants of the Supreme Lord to increase the Hlada, Ahlada, the pleasure, every time. It never diminishes, like in the material world. In the material world, what happens? Everything diminishes because the element of time. The time destroys everything. Okay, pluck a flower in the morning, evening you just see what is the status of flower. It's immediately faded. Okay, just a matter of few hours, it fades. Miss India or Miss Universe is no more Miss Universe the next year. The beauty is gone, faded. Somebody else has occupied. The richest person in the world today may not be the richest person tomorrow, because the stock market, the share market, everything is moved here and there, and the position is lost. So that is the difference. There in the spiritual world, everything increases. Its beauty, its richness, its strength, and everything increases. Anandambudhi Vardhanam, Pradipadam. Every step, it keeps increasing. That is spiritual world. But in the material world, it goes. The graph is down. So this is different. So he has got various energies, multivarious energies. So nor can one who is captivated by the spell of material energy understand the spiritual form of the Supreme Lord. Okay. Who are under the influence of the material nature cannot understand the form, spiritual form of the material world. Who is a pure devotee will alone understand the spiritual form of the Supreme Lord. Unless there is realization of the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no question of love of God. And without love of God, there is no perfection of human life. So we should know who God is, how great He is, what form He is available. Only then we can, have the loving exchange with that Supreme Lord. We don't know who He is. How can He love the Supreme Lord? So we should have that understanding, that knowledge, who the God is, how great He is, in what color He is, where is He residing, what is His address, how He looks like, how He acts. So all these things you should know. Only then we'll be able to love Him. Otherwise, it's not possible for us to love. Just as the five gross elements of nature, namely earth, water, fire, air, ether, are both within and without all living beings is in this world. Supreme Lord is both inside and outside this existence, and those who are His devotees can realize this. So the Panchabhuta is within and without. Okay, in all living beings of this world. Within us also this Panchabhuta, without also, outside also. Similarly, Supreme Lord is also both inside and outside. The whole creation is within Him. Okay, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahman. Everything is in Him. Is there anything that is outside of Him? No, everything is in. And at the same time, He is in every atom also. So He is both inside and outside. Isn't it? Everything is in Him, and that Supreme Lord is there in each and every atom also. He is inside also. He is outside as well as He is inside. So only devotees will understand this. Others will not be able to understand this. Pure devotees know very well that they are meant to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that all things that exist constitute the means by which they can serve the Lord. So the devotees know that we are the part and parcel of Supreme Lord. Mama Vamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nityadas. Being part and parcel, our duty is to serve the Supreme Lord eternally. So only devotees will understand. Otherwise, the normal people, the materially oriented people will think that this world is made for their enjoyment. We want to enjoy ourselves. I want to become the master of this place. I want to control this place. I am the proprietor. Everything around me is for my own enjoyment. So this is the natural tendency of every normal, ordinary living being, except the devotees of the Lord. Therefore, because a pure devotee has been blessed by Supreme Lord from within the core of his heart, wherever he looks, he sees the Lord and nothing more. So the devotee, has this knowledge that the Lord is dwelling in his heart, and internally and externally also he is there. So outside also he sees the divinity of the Supreme Lord in nature and all other resources. When somebody sees the clouds, immediately, we are reminded of Lord Krishna, isn't it? So when somebody drinks water, immediately we remember Krishna, because the taste in the water is also Krishna. So like that, directly or indirectly, everything is Lord Krishna's or his energy only. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.55 confirms this relationship between the pure devotee and the Supreme Lord as follows. So before we read this verse, if any comments or any questions or somebody wants to share, we'll do that, then we'll proceed. Anything, any questions or any comments so far?
No, Prabhuji, correct.
Okay. Shall we go ahead? विसृजति हृदयं न यस्य साक्षात् धरीर अवसा विहितोऽपि अघौगनाशः प्रणय रसनया वृथांग्रि पद्मा स भवति भागवत प्रधान उक्ता. If a person's heart is always tied to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord with the rope of love, the Lord does not leave him. Okay. If we are always at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the Lord will not leave us. Even if we want to leave, Lord will not leave us. Because we are always Krishna conscious. That means Lord will never leave us. Indeed, even in his remembrance, he is not perfect. He is to be considered first-class devotee. For example, even though we have been practicing Krishna consciousness throughout our life, we have become a pure devotee. And at the time of leaving the body, our faculties are not properly working. Our eyesight, our memory, our hearing power, all these things are not working properly. If the memory is not there, we will not be able to remember Lord Krishna, right? And Lord Krishna says, Anta kalecha mam eva smaran muktva kalaivaram yat prayatasi madbhavam yati nasyatra samchaya. Whoever remembers me alone will reach my abode at the time of quitting the body. But if you are not in a position to remember him because of the memory loss, what will the Lord do? Lord will remember us. We don't have to remember. Lord will remember us, and he will ensure that we see him, we remember him at the point of leaving our body. So like that, we'll be able to attain the supreme abode, the Supreme Lord. Parampadam, that which is Avyayam, inexhaustible. An example of this is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. When the gopis assembled for their rasa dance with Krishna, Krishna apparently left them. Consequently, they began to chant the holy name of Krishna, and being overwhelmed with madness, inquired about Krishna from the flowers and creepers in the forest. Krishna is like the sky. He is situated everywhere. So example is given. When the rasa dance was going on, suddenly Krishna left the scene, and all the gopis started, crying and checking and asking all the creatures like birds and flies and trees and creepers, where is Krishna? Where is my Krishna? Where is my Krishna? They were all overwhelmed with madness. Okay. So therefore, by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, we can learn about our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, understand the procedure for regaining him, and attain the ultimate realization, which is love of God. So only through this Vedanta, the commentary of the Vedanta Sutra, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. The natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra is Srimad Bhagavatam. So from this only we'll be able to understand the topmost Purushartha, Panchama Purushartha. What is that?
Attain the love of Supreme Lord.
Attain the love of Supreme Lord. Okay. The Purushartha is related to
Dharma, Kama, Moksha.
Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the four religious principles. That is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So if you want really love of God, we should learn the eternal relationship of the living entities with the Supreme Lord. That is possible only by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the speciality of Srimad Bhagavatam in comparison to other literatures? What is the speciality? What is speciality?
It only talks about Krishna only, Prabhuji. It not talks about any other Purushartha.
Okay, it only talks about Purusha. Okay. Still more, little more precise. Why it is called Amala Puran?
Because it's the Krishna himself, Prabhuji. Bhagavatam is the Krishna himself, plus he not talks about anything about Karma Shastra, anything, Prabhuji. It's not talks.
Okay, let's agree. But why it is called Amala Puran? Spotless Puran. Why? What does it mean? So what is that spot? Now, for example, all others, as you rightly said, it is not explaining adequately about the Supreme Lord and his pure devotees, all other things. Okay. And it is not called spotless Puran. All other Purans, Shiva Puran, this Puran, that Puran, and all, not categorized as Amala Puran, only Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is the speciality of Srimad Bhagavatam? Why it is called spotless or Amala? What is Mala?
Mala means dirt, Prabhuji.
Contamination.
Contamination.
Okay. And what is Amala?
Without contamination.
Uncontaminated. So in what way other scriptures or Vedas are contaminated? You said?
Yes, probably because it talks about Purushartha somewhere to reach.
Yes. And this Purushartha comes within the
three modes of material.
Yes. So this is the Mala of the material world. Sattva, Raja, Tamo, Guna are the Mala. Okay. As long as we are in any of these modes, we are within this material world. We are confined to this material world. Whoever transcends these three gunas, Guna Atit, pure mode of goodness, Shuddha Sattvic stage, Nirguna stage, they are pure devotees. They will attain the pure kingdom of God, not others. Others will have to take birth again and again. So that's why this is called Amala Puran, spotless Puran. It's not influenced by the three modes of material nature. It is not in Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, or Tamoguna. Other literatures, irrespective, whether it is Vedas or Upanishads, mostly they all deal with Purusharthas and they're all within the three modes of material nature. Whereas Srimad Bhagavatam alone is in the transcendental mode, that is Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva. So when Narada Muni came, to Vyasadeva after he composed all the Vedic literatures, Upanishads, Vedas, Puranas, was totally despondent, isn't it? He was dejected, he was moroseful. So he didn't know what is the reason. Even after writing so much, he is not satisfied. He was totally dejected. What was the reason? So Narada Muni said, you have composed everything, okay? All within the three modes of material nature, Purusharthas, Dharmartha, Kama, Moksha. So where are those compositions or writings that glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his pure devotees? Since you have not adequately glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with Uttama Shloka about the Uttama Purusha, you are feeling this despondency or dejection. And on his instruction, Vyasadeva started composing Srimad Bhagavatam, and after that he was fully satisfied at heart. Okay. So the despondency was because he has not done what he was supposed to do. Glorify the Supreme Lord, the Uttama Purusha, with Uttama Shloka. So that's why this Srimad Bhagavatam is called Amala Puranam, spotless Puranam, the fully ripened fruit of the Vedic literature. The fully ripened fruit of the Vedic literature. So the Vedas, as I have explained in the earlier class also, if the Vedas are compared to a tree, okay, the tree consists of root, trunk, branches, twigs, leaves, flowers, and fruits. Which is the best part of it? The fruit, isn't it? The ripe fruit. and that's also bitten by a parrot or a bird. Very sweet. And that fruit which doesn't have any seed or skin. So Bhagavatam is compared to that. Just, enjoy, relish this juicy fruit of that Vedic literature, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. So first the Lord quoted this a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Krishna says that he can be realized only through devotional service, executed with faith and love. Okay. So devotional service also can be categorized in three modes: Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Can someone explain devotional service in Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, or Tamoguna?
Prabhuji, I had a doubt that that Srimad Bhagavatam is not written by the Supreme Lord himself.
It is written by Srila Vyasadeva, okay, who is an incarnation, literary incarnation of Supreme Lord. Okay, Vyasadeva is none other than the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, mode of tamas or mode of ignorance can somebody says worship? We cannot say devotional service. It's a worship. Devotional service is purely, meant for satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So worship also can be, categorized in this. So, tamoguna worship. Can anyone say?
Prabhuji, worshipping for getting things.
Yeah, that can be categorized both in all the three, but particularly specifically tamoguna worship.
Tamoguna worship, Prabhuji, to ghost and we have to
ghosts and spirits and to destroy others. Okay, and we are taking lot of austerities for no use. Okay, piercing through from one side to other. You can see some people, some part of the in India also, piercing from here to here. They think this is also worship, but this is the mode of tamas, ignorance. Like that, and as our Vishwajyoti rightly said, for getting some material benefits, for name, fame, possession and all, in the mode of passion. Okay, and for knowledge and all other things, jnanis and all, they also worship in the mode of goodness. But who are in the mode of pure goodness, they don't have any expectation. Their expectation is only to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, devotional service alone. So if you want to get the mercy of the Supreme Lord, we should do what sort of devotional service? Uttama Bhakti. Okay. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yado bhakti radokshade ahaituki apratihita yayatma suprasidati. What is the supreme occupational duty of the living entity? Ahaituki apratihata. Ahaituki, without any motivation, we should be able to love the Supreme Lord. Apradihata, without any cessation, without any interruption, uninterrupted, unmotivated devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the supreme occupational duty of the living entity by which the heart will be totally satisfied. So only by devotional service will have this complete satisfaction. So that will make us eligible for ultimate realization, by which he serves the Supreme Lord with faith and love and devotion. We should have complete Shraddha. We should not, somebody is tomorrow, somebody is, no. How do you think you, Krishna, this small little boy, how can be the Supreme Personality of God? He is grazing cows along with other covered, boys. Do you think that he is Supreme Lord? Immediately we are taken aback. We'll think again. Is he right? How can he be a Supreme Lord? If Supreme Lord is not so jovial, he's just like, tight-lipped, very grave and punishing everybody. How can he be Supreme Lord? How can Krishna in Vrindavana be Supreme Lord? So we should have unflinching faith in the Shastras. We should not doubt the Shastras. Okay? Even Lord Brahma was bewildered. He thought that way. How can this boy be a Supreme Lord? He's playing with all the coward boys, and whatever the coward boys are eating and drinking, that Juta is also partaking. Madhubangala was having, chach, that is buttermilk, in his mouth full. What Krishna did, he just pressed, and the buttermilk from his mouth spilled out, and Krishna opened his mouth and drank it. So this was the scene, Lord Brahma saw from his abode. No, it can never be. He cannot be Krishna. To test whether he is really Krishna, he did the Brahma Vimohan Leela. We all know that. So we should have that unflinching faith and Shraddha in the Supreme Lord, because these are all there in the scriptures. The scriptures are not man-made. So what is the scriptures known? The scriptures are known like Apaurushaya. It is not written by man. Then you may ask, Vishajyoti, you may ask, isn't Vyasadeva a person? He is, as I told you, he is a literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality. He is Guna Atit. He is above the three modes of material nature. He is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, incarnation of Supreme Lord. So whatever they write, you can just accept it. They are not ordinary living beings like us. So even if one is born in a low family, like a family of Chandalas, dog eaters, one can become filled with transcendental symptoms through realization of the supreme stage of love of God. Who are Chandalas? Dog eaters. Okay. Lower than the Shudra. There are 4 varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So this Chandala is lower than the Shudra, because even Shudra doesn't eat dog meat. These are all people who eats dog. Okay. That animal is not considered in the mode of goodness. So they're all called Chandalas, lower than the Shudras. So there are people lower than Shudra, even Varnas, Pulindas, Andhras, and what is that? There are so many names it is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. They are all not even coming in the Varna also. Lord Krishna says, Chadur Varne Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. These 4 are my Srishti. I have created according to qualities and karma. Okay. So dog eaters, one can become filled with transcendental symptoms through realization of the supreme stage of love of God. These transcendental symptoms are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Smaranda smarayantascha mitho akhauga haram harim bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya vivarti utpulakam tanum. When pure devotees discuss subjects dealing with the Supreme Lord, who can cleanse all kinds of sinful reactions from the hearts of devotees, they become overwhelmed with ecstasy and display different symptoms due to their devotional service. So pure devotees, who can cleanse all kinds of sinful reaction from the hearts of his devotee, they become overwhelmed with ecstasy and display different symptoms due to their devotional service. Ashta Satyuga Vikara, they will exhibit when they become pure devotees. The Bhagavatam also states, when pure devotees chant the Lord's holy name due to their spontaneous attachment for the Lord, they sometimes cry, sometimes laugh, sometimes dance, sometimes sing, and so on, not caring for any social convention. They're all Ragatmika Bhaktas. Those who are not bound by the rules and regulations of the material world. They exhibit the spontaneous love like the gopis of Vrindavan. They are beyond rules and regulations. They are not following Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti like us, regulated devotional service. They're all having spontaneous love. So they are beyond rules and regulations. That's why, many times we think that how is this, gopis, they're all having families, husband, and, children, parents and all. At the dead of the night, when the flute sound is heard, immediately they leave everything, their husbands and everything, and they go to meet a boy in the jungle. How is it possible? They are not bound by these rules. They are beyond. Okay, they are having spontaneous love. Spontaneous love. We cannot, to reach that, we have to go a long way. So we have to follow the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, regulated devotional service. So we should understand, therefore, so to such devotees, this Ashta Sattvic Ugara, sometimes they dance, sometimes they cry, sometimes they roll on the ground, sometimes they will, act as madman. Even in the material world also, you will find such people, sometimes rolling on the ground, when they are totally drunk. They will roll on the ground. Okay, they will cry for material things when they lose something, some possession, they will cry. Hairs will stand on, and when they're afraid. So this vikara can also be found in the material world, but this is totally material. But here for the devotees, it is transcendental. So that's a difference. And when the devotion, when the love of God, in its actual platform, when the devotee gets that, then they will be in ecstasy, and in that ecstasy they will become mad, and they will be speaking things that are not at all related. Just like a madman. The madman doesn't know what is he doing, what is he speaking, isn't it? So both materially and spiritually we will find these symptoms, but we should be able to make out, what sort of symptoms it is. Is it devotional or material? We know it. So whatever symptoms that erupts in our body, it's all material. We get stunned, hairs will stand on, and when we see something really that's not palatable, okay, that's when we become fearful. All these things happen. We will cry and we'll shout, and all these things will do. So it is not this vikara that is expressed here. So we should understand, therefore, that Srimad Bhagavatam is the real explanation of the Brahma Sutra. So this is the authentic commentary of the Brahma Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam. For it is compiled by the same author, Vyasadeva himself. In the Garuda Purana it is said, Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam Bharadartha Vinirnaya Gayatri Bhashya Ruposau Vedartha Paribhramita Granto Sadasa Sahasraha Srimad Bhagavata Vidha. Okay, this is from the Garuda Purana. Srimad Bhagavatam is the authorized explanation of the Brahma Sutra, and it is further explanation of the Mahabharata. It is the explanation of Gayatri Mantra and the essence of all Vedic knowledge. This Srimad Bhagavatam, containing 18,000 verses, is known as the explanation of all Vedic literature. Okay, so in this material world, it has 18,000 verses. In the higher planetary system, you will find 100,000, 200,000 crores and all. So in this material world, it's only 18,000. So in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the sages of Naimisharanya asked Siddha Goswami to explain the essence of the Vedic literatures. So Siddha Goswami was asked by the sages of Naimisharanya, can you please explain the essence of the Vedic literatures? One of the six questions they asked. The sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Savanaka Rishi, asked Siddha Goswami 6. So one of the question was, explain the essence of the Vedic literature. In answer, Siddha Goswami presented Srimad Bhagavatam as the essence of all the Vedas, the cream of all the Vedas. The cream of all the tree is the fruit, isn't it? So the essence of all the Veda is Srimad Bhagavatam. Siddha Goswami presented Srimad Bhagavatam as the essence of all the Vedas, histories, and other Vedic literatures. So, which are the histories?
Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Mahabharata and Ramayana. These are the Itihasas or histories. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's clearly stated that Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedanta knowledge, and that one who relishes the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam has no taste for studying any other literatures. So, one who gets a taste of Srimad Bhagavatam will no more have any taste reading any mundane literature. In the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, purport of the Gayatri mantra is described. I offer my obeisances unto the supreme truth. Thus, from the first verse, Srimad Bhagavatam deals with the supreme truth. Okay. Janmadi asya yadha idarasa charteshu abhijnasu sura. Okay. Which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam as the source of the creation. Okay. Janmadi asya, everything is created, is the source of creation, maintenance and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. Obeisances, Satyam Param Dhimahi, obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya directly indicate Lord Sri Krishna, who is the divine son of Vasudeva and Devaki. How Lord Krishna got the name Vasudeva? Because he is the son of Vasudeva. Like that, he got the name Vasudeva. That Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead is more explicitly presented later in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Vyasadeva asserts that Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, that all others are either his direct or indirect plenary portions or portions of those portions. Which of the sloka is referred here from Srimad Bhagavatam? Okay. Now, Vyasadeva explains that he is the supreme personality of Godhead very explicitly. Okay. And all others are his portions or portions of the portions. Which is a sloka referred here? It's a very famous sloka. No one knows? Ete chamsha kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Indrayi Vyakulam Logam Mridayande Yogi Yogi.
Prabhuji, I thought Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matta Sarvam Bharati.
No, that's from Bhagavad Gita. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, which explicitly says that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord. What is that? Ede cha amsha kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the Swayam Supreme Personality Word. All others are, as it is mentioned here, direct or indirect plenary portions or portions of those portions. Kala Pumsa. Cha Amsha Kala Pumsa. It's very clear. So Deva Goswami make it very clear to make us understand Krishna is the original Supreme Personality. Ede cha Amsha Kala Pumsa. Direct or indirect portions or portions of the portions of Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Okay. Srila Jiva Goswami has still more explicitly developed this subject in his Krishna Sandarbha. Okay. Jiva Goswami has composed 400,000 plus, almost around 500,000 verses, which no one in the history has done. Okay. Even Srimad Bhagavatam is how many? 18,000. Ramayana is some 24,000 verses. Chaitanya Charitamrita is some 12,000 verses. Where, all the Vedas put together, I don't know, maybe 100,000 or plus something like that. But here, Jiva Goswami has composed more than 400,000, almost 500,000 verses. So one of his composition is Shad Sandarbha. No, in that Krishna Sandarbha, Shad Sandarbha means 6. Shad means 6. Shad Goswami, 6 Goswami, 6. Priti Sandarbha, Bhagavad Sandarbha, Krishna Sandarbha, like that. There are 6 Sandarbhas he has written. In that, Krishna Sandarbha and Brahma, the original living being. So he has very explicitly mentioned about Krishna and Brahma and other living entities, the position of Lord Krishna. Okay. Krishna Sandarbha and Brahma, the original living being, has substantially explained subject of Sri Krishna in the treatise Brahma Samhita. Okay. Brahma Samhita also it is very clearly mentioned. Who has translated Brahma Samhita? Any idea? Who has translated Brahma Samhita?
Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
No. His son.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
Yes, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. It is written by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, who is the spiritual master of our Param Guru, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda, Srila Prabhupada. Very nicely. If you read once, you will not understand. Again and again.
Not one, I read it, then without dictionary, each line we cannot read, Prabhuji.
Again and again and again and again you have to read.
Even in Hindi, cannot understand, Prabhuji. If his translation in Hindi also cannot.
He was a linguist. He was expert in English, Oriya, Bengali, Sanskrit, Parsi, all these languages. He was a linguist. And when Britishers listens to his class or lecture, they needs a dictionary to find out what exactly is speaking. You know, their own native language, they don't understand. So he's using such vocabulary. That's why he's called, he has been named as Ray of Vishnu. So there's a book called Ray of Vishnu. That is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. They're not ordinary people of this material world. So we're all very, very lucky to be in the line of such great personalities. To forget about reading the book, touching that book itself is, we are getting Sugurdi. They're really great personalities. Okay, so we'll stop here. It's 8 o'clock. So please note down this para in his prayer Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll continue from next week from this paragraph. Okay, please note down. Okay, and chapter 23 from the para in his prayer Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. I'll stop here and stop the recording also. Hare Krishna.